Alright, we're back for part 4. So last time we did the red items and we ranked them comfortably. A lot of them in S tier, a lot in A, B, C, D, and F. There's actually most of them on the lower tiers. No, there's an equal amount of greens and almost whites. Now we're going to be doing the yellow items and then the purple items. Or boss and void, whatever you want to call them. Oh, right, a lot of them are also here. I forgot. I gotta move up the wiener, the planula. Really love planula. And this. Alright. Titanic Neural. I'd put in C tier. It's just average. It increases your natural regen, which is nice. And overall health. No, I actually put in B. It's like a lower B. Nice equipment. Nothing too special though. Just stays in B tier. Queen's Gland. Oh boy, do I hate Queen's Gland. I think it's averages out to C tier. But goddamn, I hate this fucker so much. This thing is useless as shit. The Beetle Guard is retarded. On God. For real. It's not that good. It's an okay distraction, but it can only hit ground enemies, and there are better distraction enemies. It doesn't do any good damage. Mithrix gets them. It's kind of cringe. It's not really that bad though. Doesn't do any amazing damage. It just falls off a cliff half the time and ends up getting itself killed. Ends up getting voided all the time. Blocks your shots when you're playing bandit all the time more than your drones do. Overall, just really annoying. It's just distraction. That's it. I would replace it for any other yellow item anytime. Actually, not any. There's like a couple worse ones, but overall averages at the C tier, lower end C tier. Get this shit out of my inventory. Aurelianite goes in the higher end of C tier. Aurelianite has one niche over all the other crappy follower type yellow items, is that it spawns during phase 4 Mithrix. It has a decent amount of HP and can hit Mithrix. So that alone makes it higher up C tier. If it wasn't that, it would just be your average tanky teleporter item. Wouldn't be that great. But aside from that, not bad. Little Disciple. Definitely an A tier. This thing fires wisps when you're sprinting, which is pretty good. And they have a pretty decent proc coefficient. They do 300% damage. Pretty strong. Pretty good. Always an item you want to get. If you get the opportunity to get it, you should always take it. Unless you have like some others that benefit you more. You might have like a Shower Spring you want to give up. But yeah. You see a Growth Tender, you want to shoot it. And take this. This is always a good item. It's literally just a better version of Nuka-Hana's in every way. I just want to point that out. It does more damage, has a higher proc coefficient, it fires faster, and procs way easier. You literally just sprint. You don't have to rely on healing. It's literally just a superior version to this item in every way. It's a bit more easier to get. You only get one stage though, so there's also the downside of that. But you also could get a printer. But it's a lot easier just to go dream, find a gun, and then to get a 1 in 30 chance of getting this, and then getting all this set up for it. You're more likely to benefit from this in every single run possible than this. 1 in 1,000 chance this will be better. There you go. Pearl. There's a 10% chance of your HP. You're disappointed when you see this. You want to use it as yellow scrap. Radiant Pearl though. I definitely like S tier because it gives you a buff to all your stats. 10% buff. Pretty solid. One of the best items in the game, but stupidly rare, so good luck getting it. But if you do get it, it's pretty cool. Molten Perforator. Solid A tier. It also synergizes well with Ignition Tank, which makes it pretty cool. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, but it fires like fireballs around enemies, doing splash damage, which is really good for AoE and just straight up damage in general. I like this item a lot. Shatter Spin. You already know this is going in S tier. I don't really need to explain too much why this is good. You already know why it's good. Every time you create it, stacks bleed, and then when an enemy dies, it explodes. Makes like a red blood explosion. Kind of like in Borderlands. Kind of cool. Does that. Yeah, easy S tier. You already know. Go on every survivor. Marathon. B tier. When you're close to an enemy, it siphons them. It heals from their life energy. Pretty cool. I like it. Nothing amazing though. So it just sits in B tier comfortably at the higher end. I'd probably put it like, actually more so here, more in the mid. So yeah. Solid B tier. Next up, Genesis Look. This one's pretty average. I put it in the middle C tier. It has saved me a decent amount of times, I will admit, but the problem with it is you need to get to low health to proc it, and forcing yourself to get to low health isn't a very smart idea. But if you have Inji turns, hey, it goes off pretty often. It's an S tier item in Inji. But everything else, not so much. Can save your ass though. Don't give it to Mithrix because he will proc it most of the time, unless it's one of your first items you got. But if he gets low enough to health and he still has it, he will fire it off as quick as you do and probably kill you. Unless you're behind a wall. So be very careful. Next up, Charge Perforator. S tier, it's just better ATG pretty much. But it's also cool. So yeah. It's more rare than ATG, but when you do get it, it pops off. It's a really strong proc item. It is 500% damage per stack, making it amazing. So yeah, you get this, you might as well keep it for the rest of the run. Oh, Planula in D tier. Planula is terrible. The biggest problem with Planula is that it spawns on stage 5. The only stage where you can find grandparents, normally. And picking this up that late in the run in stage 5 is not going to benefit you much at all. It heals 15 every time you get hit. Which doesn't sound too bad, but considering that most enemies are doing more than 15 damage to you per hit at that point in the run, makes it pretty garbage. So it sits comfortably in D tier. It doesn't have too many niches either. Like, a lot of you may be saying like, oh, it's good with a Hellfire Tincture build. Even then, you don't need it for that. Like, sure, it's nice to have like a constant healing rate with it, but you can just pick up 3 repulsion armors and get the same results. A white item. So you don't need a Planula, even for that. 3 repulsion armors will block the damage from Planula, or not Planula, Hellfire Tincture completely. So you don't even need it. Yeah. Next up, your boy Empathy Course. Solid B tier. This is probably my favorite boss item in the game because I like the minions a lot. It's nothing amazing though. They're just 2 little distractions. They can do a lot of damage, but especially with spare drone parts. Spare drone parts buff them quite a lot. So that's a thing. But outside of that, probably just solidly B tier. They fly in the air, so it's a lot harder for like enemies to hit them, making them a way better distraction than Aurelia and Beetle Guards. And the next one we're going to talk about. So comfortably in B tier. Ah, yes, the worst boss item in the game. Big old I even forget the name. Alpha Construct Spawner. Oh my. What is this called again? I don't remember. It's so bad that I forgot it, and every time I pick it up, I'm disappointed. I'm like, I got it again. I could have been a green item. Yeah, you know why this is bad. Some people, for some reason, think this is good on Risk of Rain 2 Reddit. But I mean, it's my fault for reading Risk of Rain 2 Reddit, which is like some of the dumbest opinions you'll ever see on the internet. So, yeah. Solidly sits in F tier. Honestly, it's probably bottom F tier only because, I guess it is more better than these, yeah. At least when you kill an enemy, you get something. Yeah, I'll put it bottom D tier for that. It's nothing good, but at least that exists. They don't do much damage at all, though. These things suck. And they die pretty quickly because they just sit in one spot. They're worse than every other follower, like these are like C tier. This thing's comfortably in D tier, being crap. So yeah. You do have the opportunity to get a different printer than the Alpha Construct one. Just get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of it. Do not keep this item. 1984. I can't keep my thing. Anyways. Save for spaces. You already know this is going in S tier. This seems stupid. It is better than Teddy Bear in every way. It's a guarantee block rather than a chance. I think that alone makes it better. Actually, Teddy Bear when we put it up higher. Teddy Bear itself still pretty good. I love Teddy Bear. But Save for Spaces is just kind of better. The only character that doesn't really benefit from this is Rex, really. Because he has self-damaging things, so you're not going to have this up as often, so it might be better just to carry these. But every other character, you want to pick this up on them. Guarantee block OP. Though, hey, if you like using another bear, more the power to you, buddy. Needletick. I think Needletick overall averages out to a B. Blade is way better than it. And upon the second stack of Bleed, it out DPSs it pretty comfortably. The only reason why you'd want to pick up Needletick over Bleed is for two reasons. One, you have a Shire Spleen, which already procs Bleed for you, because having Bleed and crit doesn't increase the amount of Bleed you'd stack. So you pick up Collapse and blah blah blah. Second, you're playing a Survivor that won't consistently proc Bleed, or if you don't have a Crowdfunder with that character. So you're playing like Loader. I actually don't really pick up Crowdfunder much in Loader, but let's just say, for example, you're playing Loader, you don't got a Crowdfunder, and you got a Needletick and a bunch of Bleed. You're going to pick up Bleed every time because you're not going to consistently keep stacks of Bleed ups. You're just going to take the 400% damage upon the hit you get if you're punched. So it's more consistent on that character versus Commando, which can consistently keep stacks of Bleed on an enemy, like Mythrix. So, drastic difference between the two. And Needletick is quite significantly worse for this character that don't benefit from. Lost Series Lenses is probably the most broken item late game because it instant kills and you get a crit parry with it, you one-shot everything. On the first loop though, not that great. After that though, yeah, it can pop off. You probably want to pick these up, but they're kind of lame, so it's up to you if you really want to pick them up. But it will carry a lot of your run. You actually get like a decent chance at instant killing. So yeah, but I think this is some of the most boring items in the game because it just instant kill things. It's not really that cool. The cool thing is that when you instant kill a Guff, it doesn't spawn children though. That's pretty cool. That's about it though. Fungus. I was talking about the best healing item in the game, and it's undoubtedly this item. I'm gonna put a little around of S too. Obviously, it's better than Bungus in every way. You sprint while healing. It's free healing for sprinting. I don't need to explain more. It's not overpowered. It's just really good, and you want to pick it up 99% of the time. The only time you don't want to pick it up is when you're playing Engineer with stationary turns. Even then, it's not that bad of an idea to pick it up, but normal Bungus does benefit a lot with it. So yeah, pick this up. You will see. You will thank yourself later. Encrusted Key. I probably put in the same tier as normal key, but you get to pick 1 to 3 to avoid items, which makes it better. You can pick a poly loot. That's pretty cool. That's only sometimes though. So you can poly loot. I think this is probably the best, one of the best proc games in the game. Probably the best? Question mark. Anyways, it's an S tier item. This thing will fire lightning. That fires 3 strikes of lightning per stack. It adds 2 more strikes of lightning. And each strike has like a decent proc chance, which makes it pretty strong. And it'll proc things on other things. This thing will make you proc a lot of things on top of things, and also just increases your overall damage output by a lot. Just when you start stacking a lot, the amount of lightning that procs on an enemy is insane. The amount of extra damage. I remember I had like 8 in one run. I shot 1 bullet for Commando on like a Greater Wisp. Its AP like diminished really low. I'm like, oh god damn. Pretty cool. Now let's talk about the worst void item in the game. Void Band. This thing sucks ass. Let me tell you. So why does it suck ass here? Like, oh, it kind of sucks things in a black hole. It's not that bad, right? Wrong. Ice Band and Fire Band have a 10-second cooldown each, and do consistent damage on an enemy. This thing procs on single target. This thing fires a fire tornado, good for multipliers. This thing has a 20-second duration, spawns a black hole vortex, sucks everything in. This is sounds too bad, right? But the duration of it and the total damage it does is 100% versus Ice Band, which is like 400% or something. And this is like around the same as well. These do much higher damage. Proc more often. You're gonna proc 2 Ice Bands every 20 seconds. Versus this every 20 seconds for 100% damage. Why would you ever pick this up? And you top it all off. There's an equipment that does the sucking up thing way better. So you have no real reason to pick this up. You're kind of just ruining your build most of the time you pick this up. 0 to 10. Would not recommend. Next up is Lice itself. It goes in B tier. Same reason as Highlight Afterburner. Only benefits some, but it benefits less characters, so it's a little bit worse. Utility is a lot more helpful. Benefits some characters really well. Railgunner, I'm looking at you. Engineer, looking at you. Captain, looking at you. You know, some characters benefits more than others. It depends on the character. Bandit, I'm already looking at you. This is your big boy item. It depends. But for those survivors that benefit from it, they really do benefit from it. Those ones that don't, Void Fiend, looking at you, useless as fuck on you. But yeah, pretty cool. I like this item. Next up, Voidsent Flame. I think this goes solidly in B tier. Voidsent Flame is honestly not bad, and it's way better beneficial on some characters than others. So it kind of depends. So let me tell you, it's way better on characters that shoot fast than characters that do a lot of damage. It's a very weird, but you'll get more benefit out of it for a character that's already going to be hitting a lot of enemies more quickly compared to some like Loader. Yeah, you can hit it, proc it more often on enemies, it's way better versus someone that's not. And someone that already does high damage doesn't really need it, unless like the AoE from afterwards, like from Will-O-Wisp for example. Very weird to explain, but overall, I think it's a little bit worse than this, actually by a tier worse. 2 tiers. So yeah, kind of hard to explain, but that's just how I think. Pick it up on the fast shooting characters, basically, versus the non ones. But if you don't end up picking it up, it's not the end of the world, because Will-O-Wisp is here. Also, in multiplayer, you're not going to always proc this either, because your friends are going to hit the thing before you do a lot of the times. So it's better just to rely on the AoE from this thing than this. So yeah. Because you're a lot more likely to proc it on an enemy than this. Plasma Shrimp. I think it sits solidly beside ATG in S tier. This thing is insane. I love Plasma Shrimp. It's a little bit buggy in multiplayer sometimes, because if you're not the host, it doesn't really consistently proc as much. It's really weird. But this is pretty good. And yeah, sometimes you don't want to pick up ATG. With your fast shooting character, this thing makes you want to come. But sometimes you don't want this. It kind of depends, honestly. But you also have to rely on a shield too, so that's also a problem. But hey, not the worst thing in the world. Next up, Tentable also sits in C tier with Chronoball. It is better than it, so it goes a little bit higher because you can freeze an enemy in place, which is a little bit better. But you need multiple stacks for it to proc more often. Plus, if you're already shooting fast, you're not going to really benefit too much from it. Yeah. Benedict Bloom. This item is crazy late game. You can turn your run into something really, really special by only giving you red items. Which is pretty funny, honestly. It probably averages it to be. It can really cock you, or can really make your run good. It can give you 1,000,000 dias, and you never die. Or never lose the run, I guess. Better way to put it. Yeah. Probably averages just out to be. Speaking of extra lives, though, Proponent Lava probably goes in A tier. It's in extra life, but the problem with it turns a lot of your items into purple items. Did you know? Doesn't sound too bad, but when you consider your bands turn to the purple bands or void bands, not the coolest thing in the world. Next up, the Hadrozoia. It doesn't lower B tier. Most of the time we don't want this thing because it kind of gets rid of a lot of your good yellow items because, you know, you can't use Shower Spin after you pick this up. But the Void Allies are okay. Nothing too special. They're mostly just meat tanks. They can be good distractions, but you do lose out a lot of damage by picking up some. Kind of iffy, and then you need it to drop from Void Crab with a gun, so it's not that consistent to get, so very weird. Anyways, lower end of B tier. And that's it for this part. Thanks for watching. Next up, I'm going to rank all the lunar items and then the equipments. Yeah, bye. See you in the next part.